Hello everybody, and welcome back to another stream. We are back in Microsoft Flight Simulator. As you can see, I think it's a bit loud out there. We'll go back in the cockpit for for the intro. Yeah, back in the Fenix A319. We flew it yesterday, but I enjoyed it so much. I thought let's hop in into it again. This time flying in the US, San Francisco to Las Vegas today. Very common route, a route I fly quite often as well, actually. So two fantastic airports. Hey Alex, welcome. Dreadful Death, welcome. Plane Spotter CR, welcome. Thomas 13, welcome. Caleb, welcome. Stan, welcome. Hey guys. Alright, so thank you all for being here. And we're pretty much going to get right into it. I am just going to brief the route. And so today we are just using the default San Francisco, and then we do have Fly Tampa, Las Vegas running as well. So here we are at San Francisco. We're departing 01 left. Even though there's a 6-knot tailwind, that is apparently the departure runway, so we're using that. And as you can see, short taxi to the runway then. We're doing the stick 5 departure, so flying out towards the San Francisco city and then back on ourselves. And then we're going to be flying over to the east, down towards Las Vegas then on the Buckle 3 arrival onto the ILS 26 left at Las Vegas then. So that is the route for today. Hop back into Microsoft Flight Sim here. Flying 757 at the moment to Fuerteventura. 1 hour 35 left. Wow, very nice. Not flown to Fuerteventura in the sim at all, actually. So, right, let's get the aircraft all powered up then. Beautiful sounds. And we are currently live weather. And it's about midday here in San Francisco. If you guys do want me to do it like a sunset or sunrise flight, we can do that, completely up to you. But for now it's live time. So let's get the boarding underway then. All automatic from GSX. I'll just turn the brightness up here, import the flight plan. Unfortunately, plane spotters, I don't have time for a second leg after this. I'm actually going on holiday tomorrow, so just the one leg today. Right, so we'll load GSX 144 on board, and that is, we are actually fully loaded. 144 is our capacity, so let's go ahead and get started. So go to the init page, we'll request that. While that's doing that, we'll send this to the MCDU, to all the weights, and get our QNH as well. So QNH at San Francisco is, bring up my Navigraph, it's gonna be
catering vehicles are on their way.
3006. So let's set that 3006, and I'm just gonna get the barrows synced then. So if I go here and controls, and they are now linked, that's good. And if I just update this, the other one should update as well. There it goes, perfect.
Fuel truck is in position.
And looks like we're getting our fuel. There's aircraft taking off.
Truck arrives and asked to do it.
Aircraft taking off just there. Looks like American A320, it looks like, or 321. Not VATSIM, not today. This is just FSLTO traffic. Hey, X-Plane Aviator, welcome. So let's align these then and gather the wind. So we'll request that, and then I'm going to bring up the OFP on my tablet. We are CUDA 818 as per usual. We'll put that in there. We're cruising today, flight level 350. I actually flew this route earlier today as well, so and then cost index is 12. The init B page will be done shortly once fuel is on board. I've sent him, there it is, all that's done. And now flight plan. So SFO Departure then, departing 01 left from the stick 5. Let's put that in. And the Intel transition. Put that in there. Just finished my flight from Kathmandu to Paro, 500 feet per minute landing. You know what? Paro, that's not bad. I really want to fly to Paro at some point on the stream as well. I think that would be pretty cool. In the cockpit and wing view, I don't see difference from the A350. Do you mean sounds? Definitely changes in sounds for sure in the cabin. Right, anyway, what were we doing? So, arrival then at Las Vegas, and we're doing the ILS Yankee 26 left, so this one here on the on this star, and then the FLCHR transition. If we go to Vias here, Bourbon is already input, so that's perfect, and put that in. No discos, just double check it. And we are good there. I'm gonna get the APU started now. The A319 is shorter, it looks amazing. Yeah, I really enjoy flying the A319 actually. Really, really enjoying it. That is loud. Yeah, FSLTO is really, really loud. If I already have the A320, do you recommend me getting the A319 and 321 extension or getting GSX? I think GSX is really good. I really enjoy it. But you know, the expansion for £40 you get 2 planes. It's kind of crazy. Really up to you, but the extension is great. GSX is great as well. So both definitely worth it in my opinion. Just gonna get the display temperature, not the temperature, what am I on about? The brightness up. There it is, and on the MCP I'm just gonna set 350, 35,000 foot for our cruise. And there it is. So we're refueling at the moment, and it's in pounds. So let me just change the units here, not that one. Kilogram, that's it, that's what we want. I'm gonna resend to the MCDU. Alright, now we're in kilos. And right, so fuel is coming on board, and then we'll get cargo and the passengers on shortly as well. Very, very nice. Fenix done a fantastic job on these, they really have. Another aircraft taking off there. Like a United 737 MAX. Southwest. So refueling, waiting for the ADIS to align. How's our fuel looking? Looks like we're almost fueled. In fact, it's taking some out, I believe. Not sure why it's overfilling the fuel here,
requested.
But interesting. At least we're gonna get boarding now. It's putting a lot of fuel on. I hope that stops at some point. Maybe it's because I changed the units halfway through. And boarding's gonna start then. Fantastic. New favorite aircraft. You know, I'm really enjoying this A319. I really am, honestly. It's getting me very tempted to get the towless A319 or X-Plane as well. Disconnect the external power now. 1 more minute on the ADIS. Very quick startup, as we can see here. But we should start getting passengers in a second. It's still sending us fuel.
Passengers boarding starting.
So you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to just reset it and do an instant load, so...
May I see your boarding pass?
Right. So, because that was putting a lot of fuel on for absolutely no reason, so... that's GSX here.
Hello.
And prepare for the pushback. You know, GSX works fine, but then as soon as I start streaming, it starts to do funny things, so...
Welcome
But it was fine early today.
This way.
Pretty sure when you send the weights, it's live. So if you send it before loading the packs, it'll be wrong, I'm pretty sure. When you send the weights, I think it sends the planned weights, as far as I know. So block.
May I see your boarding pass?
I might need to... Let me send that again. There we are. Yeah, you're right. So that's now correct.
Welcome.
One question, what do I have to do to make a shared cockpit flight? If you want, you can ask that on the Discord. I know there's a couple of people on the Discord who have used shared flight, so I'm sure they can help you. I've not used it yet, so I might not be able to help there. So ADs are good now. GSX still thinks we're getting people on board, so I'm just going to restart this. Hopefully that's not broken GSX. And prepare for the pushback. And we're going to use United. Why were you in hold on your last flight? Is that the flight this morning? That you're talking about, the flight I did earlier. I guess you're looking at that on Valanta. I was in the hold because I generally, if I have to go away and do something while I'm flying, I just set a hold. So I don't miss my top of descent. So I set a hold just before top of descent, so I don't miss it. Because I sent my flight, I took off, and then I went off and did something, so that's why.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin
All
inserted.
right. Did we do a performance? We didn't. I'll take a performance. Let's do that very quickly. So sync the load sheet on live weather. 01 left. That's all correct. It gives me flap 2 still. But I don't want to do that. I want to do flaps 1. And send that to the MCDU. Lovely. And now that should be good as well. Perfect. So we've got local QNH set. Everything is looking good. Let's get the beacon on, ready for the pushback. Alright. And we'll get pushed out then. So we are going nose left, tail right.
Release parking brakes, please.
And we'll release the plank
Commencing
brake.
push.
Just get
All
my
engines
head tracker
clear.
on.
Start at will.
There it is. And let's start engine number 2.
Cabin crew, arm doors and cross-check.
Sometimes the aircraft flickers like this with GSX pushback. No idea why.
Member closest to you, as we are about to demonstrate.
The Breeze aircraft there.
Our Airbus
Looks like an E-jet, I think.
Thank you.
Very nice. Using the IE engines today, of course. V2500s.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard our Airbus A319. Please pay attention to illuminated signs.
Very nice, Calum. Sunset landing.
Including the following safety procedures.
And alright, so I think that's engine number 1 is almost started then. Aircraft taking off there. And alright, let's start engine number 1.
Parking brakes. Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Aircraft.
There goes the
Cabin crew
PTU.
are now pointing out the exits nearest to
Cockpit to ground.
Please be
We have a
aware
good engine
that the
start.
nearest user
You can disconnect.
may be behind you.
Look at all the traffic there.
Emergency lighting will guide you to an exit. In
beautiful.
Pull a mask to auto.
Unlocking gear.
My GSX is different? Oh, really? Huh. That's interesting. Is there different voices, maybe? Guess maybe it's in the settings or something.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Set max RTO then.
Left is clear.
auto brake?
Right is clear.
APU can now go off. And let's set flaps 1.
If it fails to inflate or needs topping up, blow into this tube. There is a light and whistle for attracting attention. The cabin crew.
Very nice. You can hear the packs turning back on there as well after I put the engine stop, switch back to normal. And alright, everything looks good here. On the speed brake, ready for takeoff then. And let's get our lights on. And alright, we should be good to go. I'm just gonna, as we taxi out here, reset the traffic injection. Otherwise, it's using the wrong runway. So hopefully we can prevent that. And what I'm gonna do is, come on plane. There it goes. I'm just gonna taxi over here to the left onto this taxi line here. Otherwise we're gonna hit those A321s there. Yeah, maybe you can change the voice, I suppose. Alright. And then we'll take this second exit here. Just make sure my Volanta is tracking. Which it is, perfect. Yeah, the wing sounds are massively improved. The sounds in this aircraft are just absolutely fantastic, they really are. Right, here's runway 1 left. Looks like we're... just check. We are clear, fantastic. Landing lights can go on. Nose light to take off. Line up on the runway here. Strobe light can go on. Oh, overshot a little bit. And let me just get the TCAS on as well. And then we should be good for the takeoff here. So, everything looks good there. Oh, trim. We need to set our trim. So, right. Up 0.3. So let me do that. Up 0.3. There it is. Takeoff config. All good to go. And cabin. We're not going to wait for them. We'll just go. So, get my head tracking back on. Let's spool them up. And go flex. There's flex. Alright. There's the cabin ready, perfect. This is the default San Francisco at the moment. 80 knots, we'll release the forward pressure. Hold the center line. There's V1, rotate. Beautiful rotation. And positive rate, gear can go up. We're not going to pitch above 20 degrees here. And just going to hand fly it for a little bit, pitch down a little bit, make this left turn. Beautiful. You can see San Francisco City there in front of us. Definitely a place I want to visit. Beautiful. Still hand flying it. We will get our thrust reduction here in a second. There it is. There it is. And let's get the autopilot on. There it is. Beautiful. Lovely departure. And there's San Francisco in front of us. The photogrammetry. Ev's engine page is weird. You are heavy. Yeah, we are. Looks like it's at half power, but it's not. We did have a very high flex temperature. I think it was like 73 degrees, so... yeah, looks so nice. Very, very good indeed. Flaps can go up then. And we'll disarm the speed brake. And there we are. On our way to Las Vegas. That looks so good. Look at that. Very, very nice photogrammetry. Alright, on our way then. Phoenix refuses to give toga. Yeah, I've rarely got a toga in Phoenix, and it does like to give you, you know, flaps 2 or flaps 3. But very nice EFB and calculator and all that good stuff. I was heavy in the 321 yesterday from Luton, still wanted me to go flex, I manually set it up for toga. 2 bridges connect into San Francisco. The most famous is the Golden Gate Bridge, and the one to the East Bay is simply called the Bay Bridge. Yes, absolutely. Fantastic information. And yeah, definitely a place I want to visit one day. San Francisco below us. Set a little nose view there, look at that. Very, very nice. So many places I want to visit, none in the US. There's a few places in the US I want to visit, for sure. But yeah, there's a lot of places I want to visit. I think Japan is up there, Australia, a lot of places. What's the ETA? Around 1 hour. 1 hour from now. Oh, we're going to Orlando. Very nice, Caleb. You will enjoy that. I went in 2015, so a while ago now. And there is a restriction here of 10,000, but we'll just open climb and ignore that restriction. So we'd seen scenery in US being all yellow, never have that in the UK. Yeah, it's very different, isn't it? Especially when we get towards Vegas and the desert. Very, very different. Been to Australia. Oh, very nice, Alex, yeah. First flight will be long haul. You'll enjoy it for sure. I'm gonna get the lights off now. When we turn off, passengers can be released. Get a nice wing view going here. You can still see San Francisco there, the airport. Spend a holiday in Perth. Wow. In your next stream, can you fly to MROC? I think we did it a few weeks ago, didn't we? Or maybe a few months ago now. We can do it. I am going to be in X-Plane next stream, which will be next week, so we'll be back in X-Plane next week. But yeah, we can do MROC. Look at that. We'll be overflying San Jose as well in a second. Beautiful scenery. What's that scenery? This is all default Microsoft Flight Sim. All default. Other than the sky colors. But ARPC doesn't make a huge difference during the day, so anyway, so. Dream place to visit is Chernobyl. Always been fascinated by it. Oh, that's different for sure. Only place in the US I've been to is Dallas. So many other places I'd like to visit. Yeah, the only place in the US I've currently been is Florida. So 2015 we did Tampa, Orlando, and Miami. But yeah, I'd love to do at least LA and San Francisco. New York at some point. Plenty of other cities as well in the US I'd love to visit. And yeah, Dallas is yeah, home to stand, yeah, absolutely. There's some, I believe this is San Jose in front of us, isn't it? It is. I believe there's the airport. See how we're doing then. At 17,000, so let's go standard as we're getting close to the transition altitude then. Does this Fenix have toilet button? I'm not sure. Can you access that area? I guess we have to go. Look how short the cabin is. So short. Let's go to the back here. I don't know if you can or not, actually. Doesn't look like it, no. Very nice cabin though, I have to say. Little details here. Nice lighting as well. And we've got the custom United seats as well, I believe. This dark blue. It's in the cockpit? Oh, I see. Not in the 319, right. There's United, yeah. Very nice. Head back into the cockpit. Whoop. And there we are. Very modern city, lots of sporting clubs, restaurants, and a great art district. You know, Dallas sounds like a place I'd like to visit as well, Stan. Yeah, lots of great cities. Lots of places to visit in the world. Where's Nicky? That's his dream holiday. Oh, what, small villages. Chicago is also really good, yeah. Yeah, look at this. I've always found in Microsoft Flight Sim that the scenery in the US, like, you know, the satellite imagery and autogen and photogrammetry, all that stuff is a lot better generally than what I found in Europe. So it does look particularly good. I mean, look at that. Oh, and barbecue, of course. Can't forget the barbecue stand. Yeah, it's better in X-Plane too. I think it's just you know, down to better data and stuff. What are the best add-ons that you recommend for Microsoft Flight Sim? Well, we can start the aircraft. Obviously, the Fenix, I think, are the #1 aircraft for me at the moment, I would have to say. PMDG 737 is good. The 777 is also quite good. Any builds A300 as well. Those are the only sort of pay where I have. And of course the fly-by-wire A320, that's free. Lots of great free scenery on flightsim.to. I do very much recommend ARPC because it is very, very good. As we saw in yesterday's stream, it just looks so good. And GSX makes life a lot easier. Alright, well, there we are. According to this, so we are live time right now, so this says we'll arrive at Las Vegas in 1 hour, roughly. Best add-on for Microsoft Flight Sim is Bad.next. I saw you talking about that, Alex, in the Discord. I'll have to take a look at that. Because I know binding stuff in Microsoft Flight Sim isn't the easiest, that's for sure. I much prefer the X-Plane, you know, control binding setup. All this talk about barbecue is making me very, very hungry. I'd love a good barbecue right now. Very nice. So lights are off, everything on the overhead still looks good. Just climbing up to our cruise altitude, flight level 350. Had a beef chili for dinner, very, very nice. We had a nice roast today. Roast chicken, mashed potato, all that good stuff. Some vegetables, gravy, can't go wrong. A nice ground speed going, considering we're still at flight level 280 almost. Decent ground speed. Roast on a Wednesday, big no. Well, Kalen, we're going on holiday, so we weren't going to be able to have one on Sunday. Not too much to look at as we head out away from San Francisco towards Vegas. This is mostly, as far as I know, just sort of desert and farmland, I suppose. Yeah, button mapper, yeah. I do want to take a look at that actually, although I might wait and see what the control setup system is like in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, because that's expected in September, October time, isn't it? So not too long now. I know they've said most add-ons are transferable and should work in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, but I'll be interested to see how well they work, because obviously X-Plane 12 is mostly backwards compatible, but when they say an aircraft works, it sometimes barely works and still requires an update. So it'd be interesting to see what works, what doesn't work, what requires an update, what works just straight away in 2024. But that's definitely something quite excited for. Hopefully this PC can run it. May have found a bug in 757. If I turn my bleeds off, my pressurization shoots out of control and reaches 15,000 feet within 3 seconds of them being off. That's definitely not good. That's definitely not good. I'm not sure why and whether this is how it's meant to be. But in the 767, at least in the flight factor, you can't start your engines with the packs on, which makes sense as far as I know. But when in the 757 you can. So I'm not sure whether that's a difference in the systems there or not. I'll have to look it up. But it's an interesting difference I've found between the 757 and the 767. Yeah, you need to turn them off in the 767. Yeah, absolutely. As far as I know, that's realistic. But in the 757, you can start the engines with the pack still on. So I'm not entirely sure if that's meant to happen in the 757 or whether it's not meant to. I would presume that it's not meant to. Don't think any aircraft should be able to start engines with packs on. As far as I know, I think even in the Airbus, I think Airbus can, but they do, when you put the start switch into start mode, it does kill the packs as far as I know. 777 can too, yeah. The 787 obviously doesn't have packs and it's got electrical starters rather than, it doesn't use any bleed air, obviously it doesn't have bleed air at all. That's why in the 787 you can actually start both engines at the same time, which is pretty cool. Yeah, most modern planes are auto now, yeah. I'm still quite used to doing it all manually from all the time flying the 737. The MD-11 does it automatically as well. Can you walk around the cockpit? So GSX won't give you the ability to walk around the cockpit. You can just move your camera around like this, but this is just a default feature in Microsoft Flight Sim. You can walk around, open the door and all that stuff. GSX is mainly for the services like the passengers and catering and pushback, follow me, VDGS systems, all of that stuff. So it's mainly external stuff rather than internal things. Yeah, packs sometimes are turned off for takeoff if it's a very short runway or they need maximum performance. And in the 7.3, I have indeed done a packs off takeoff, forgot to start them, and then get pressurization issues. MD-11 super easy to start. Don't know if it's just to rotate, but it does everything for you. Yeah, that is just how the MD-11 is. It's quite automated, and it surprised me actually when I got the MD-11 and started learning it. I was like, oh wow, this is like an Airbus. It's very automatic. Have you ever used Follow Me? I have a couple of times, but I generally don't like waiting for the Follow Me car and all that. I just taxi myself, but it works as far as I know. Eager to see the price of MD-11 packs from Rotate. Yeah, I hope that those of us who have got the freighter variant get a nice discount on it. Mix between Boeing and Airbus, yeah, absolutely. I'd say it leans more towards the Airbus side though, other than the yoke, really. The rest is pretty much Airbus. Even the MCDU in there is very much looks like an Airbus. The MD-11 packs is a full new aircraft. Yes, yeah, as far as I know, it's a full new aircraft. The Rotate one, at least. Not just an add-on. Alex, yeah. MD-11 is a child of Boeing and Airbus after a night on the town with loads of alcohol. It really is just a mix between them. If it's only an extra $10, I'll be very, very, very surprised. X-Plane add-ons are never that cheap. I'm anticipating we might get maybe half price if we already own the freighter, which means it'd still be 30 or 40 bucks. But that's what I'm guessing. Can you tell the follow me to take you to a gate using the instructions that the VATSIM controller said? No, I don't think so. You can select the same gate, but it won't necessarily give you the same route, as far as I know. Yeah, the MD-11 is so fun. In fact, I was thinking for our stream next week we'll fly the MD-11 because we've not flown it on stream in a while, so I do want to fly the MD-11 again. Also waiting for the 742 freighter, yes. And hopefully Flight Factor will release their 777 at some point. They said August, and we are we only have what, 9-10 days left of August, so. And then hopefully PMDG will be releasing their freighter variant as well. Yeah, we'll fly the MD-11 next week for sure. There's a turn with desert below us. And of course, if you guys do ever have any suggestions for flights or streams, videos, whatever, then you can just put them in the comments, or I do have a dedicated suggestion channel in my Discord. You ever landed in heavy fog? Yes, quite a lot, especially in Microsoft Flight Sim. Microsoft Flight Sim loves having a lot of fog. So yes, I have done. Triple 7 V2 needs to hurry up. Yeah, it's taking a lot longer than what I thought it would. But they do have, you know, their reasons. A lot of the devs are still, you know, working from a country which is you know, in conflict right now and all sorts. So, but yeah, hopefully it comes soon. It's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Hello Owen, how are you? Nice to see you here. And Den was recently ill. Yes, absolutely, yeah. So there's a couple of reasons why it's taking a bit longer, but VNav's the only thing holding back release. Yes, yeah, that's my understanding as well. But they have been, there's been a lot of bug reporting, and they've been fixing a lot and slowly adding more features, so they have been hard at work still. Look at the texture work on the wipers there. That's incredible detail. Very, very nice. There's still, yeah, a lot of people have the add-on, but I anticipate that to be a lot more once the plane comes out. I think if they've already got 1700, I think they can hit 10k quite easily on the sales. At least when it goes public beta. There's a lot of people still waiting to purchase it. Oh, Owen, thank you very much. Another $5 super chat. Owen, thank you very much for your support. I really do appreciate it. I wonder what PMDG hit when they releases their 77W. I'm just looking forward to their freighter variant. I've really been enjoying these their 777 in Microsoft Flight Sim, so looking forward to the freighter as well. Forums say 1,650 people, but I've noticed with recent batches people don't join the private forum. Yeah, I think it's a lot more than that, to be fair. Wonder what PMDG hit when... Oh, I wonder what PMDG hit when they released their 777W. Oh, it must have been... Considering how broken the the servers were, and it took me about 5-6 hours to get the email after I purchased it. It took a long time. A lot of people were waiting almost 24 hours. I think you're looking at 20, 30, 40k, and I'm sure they've got 100k now, if not more. Yeah, but that's YouTube. They put so many ads, and I can't turn off ads before my video or before my stream. I don't have any control over that. I have turned off ads in the middle of my stream because obviously I don't want an ad while I'm live to play for you guys. That will just completely ruin the experience. So I have got, you know, ads turned off in that sense. But yeah, ads before the stream, I unfortunately can't control. That is completely YouTube, and I've noticed they've been putting a lot more ads recently. They really have. Thank you, Owen. Really appreciate that. That's really kind of you to say. So from those ads, even though I've got no control over them, I do earn a little bit, but when I tell you, it is quite literally pennies. And YouTube take a big cut as well, so yeah. I mean, even on the, you know, the super chats, the donations, YouTube take almost like 60%, so they take a massive chunk. The only way not to see the ads is to buy a premium YouTube membership. Yes, absolutely. That is the only way. I do have the ads turned off, you know, as much as I can control, but a lot of it's out of my control as well. At least you get something. Yeah, it helps, but yeah, YouTube do not give much at all. What's the ETA? So at the moment, the aircraft predicting will get there at 2028 UTC. It's 1948 UTC, so in about 40 minutes. Yeah, I don't watch a huge amount of YouTube other than streams. Mainly just flight sim, really. That's all I use it for. V Skycheck, welcome my friend. Thank you very much for being here. Evening, don't you have a PayPal account instead? The only thing with PayPal is I can't have, as far as I know, a company name or brand name. I have to use my legal name, which of course I want that, you know, my legal name to remain private. So unfortunately I can't use PayPal, but I do have a Buy Me a Coffee account, which they take a very small fee. YouTube take a lot. Oh, you use a brand name? I'll have to look it up again. Last time it wasn't letting me use a brand name. It was just completely refusing and said I must use a legal first name and last name. But I'll have to take another look. Although, you know, YouTube, I don't do it for the money. I mean, like, yes, I do earn a little bit, but it's not much at all. I really enjoy streaming. If it helps people, then that's fantastic. You know, that's where the channel started, with all the tutorials and stuff like that. So that's really the main focus. Welcome back, Plane Spotted. Today I almost did a perfect landing with the Zebo. Got bounced because of the bad runway, landed right on the bump. Yeah, there are some bumpy runways in X-Plane, you've got to be careful. But the Zebo flies like a dream. I love flying the Zebo. The brand name is in your link name. Yeah, I'll have to look it up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll have to look it up again, and if I can get that set up, I will. Might be enough for you to buy a Freddo. Well, Freddos are going more and more expensive all the time, so... Thank you very much, Bo. Get a nice nose view here. I don't give on YouTube because of the feeds, but if you have PayPal, I will. Oh, honestly, your support is outstanding via P-Sky Check. So it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, it is a little bit frustrating with YouTube to how much they take. But it is what it is. So we, let's see, where's our top of descent? Our top of descent is just here, so just after this waypoint here. Not too long to go. Nice wing view. Yeah, definitely really enjoying this A319. Just absolutely fantastic. The value for money on these Fenix aircraft is just outstanding. Do you have the Zebo 738 MAX? There is no 737 MAX in X-Plane. The only Zebo aircraft is the 737-800. It's not a MAX. I heard there was one, but not fully done. Not that I'm aware of. Nothing that I'm aware of that is, well, legal. There was a MAX, but it was, well, it still is stolen code from Zebo. So, for that reason, we do not even acknowledge it. Zebo has only ever given permission to, I believe, one dev, which is Level Up, to use their work. Other than that, it's just Zebo. But yeah, we should jump back into Zebo 737 as well at some point. It's had a fair few updates as well, I believe. Sim looks great. What are your graphics? You know, actually my graphics are on the medium preset. And then I've just turned up the two LODs, the level of details, up to 75. Clouds up to ultra, and motion blur off. And that's pretty much the only thing I've changed. I've not really gone through and optimized the settings. There's a lot of settings. I just sort of set a preset which works, and I get a nice FPS, and it still looks great. So. Do you have RTX? So I'm using an RTX 3070 Ti, yes. And it, you know, it works pretty good. I mean, you can see the FPS here, 76 FPS, which is our normal FPS, but then with lossless scaling, we're at a solid 144 FPS there, which is my monitor refresh rate anyway, so really nice and smooth. Obviously on YouTube, you guys will only be seeing up to 60 FPS, because YouTube does cap it. Oh, you couldn't see the boats because you didn't have the public beta, I see. I feel like the difference between Microsoft Flight Sim low versus ultra settings is a lot less different than X-Plane 12 low versus ultra. Yeah, X-Plane Aviator, I agree. So I had my settings on the high preset before, and then I pumped up the LOD and stuff. And, you know, PC just couldn't handle it. FPS was struggling, especially at Frankfurt. So I turned my settings down to medium, and honestly, visually, I really don't see much of a difference at all. But my FPS is a lot better. And actually, I discovered today, in X-Plane, the render distance setting I had on max, because I had, you know, pretty much everything maxed out on X-Plane other than textures. So I had that maxed out. Now I turned that down by 1 notch, and visually there's not a huge difference. I gained 20 FPS in all scenarios. So that was something I discovered today, and I didn't realize that they had such a big impact on FPS, while the visual difference was really not that much. So, you know, if you're running a really high-end PC and you've got all those settings turned up to max, you can turn down that render distance setting just by 1 notch. It's still quite high, still looks great, and you get a bunch of FPS back. You better get 30 as default same card. Oh really? It must be the CPU then, because this Ryzen 7 is an absolute beast of a CPU. I'm really happy with it. On X-Plane, the render distance setting that I was just talking about is for X-Plane, yeah. Yeah, I might turn my settings on X-Plane down a little bit more if it doesn't affect the visuals too much, and I gain a lot of FPS back. So I think I need to do some testing when I'm back from my holiday next week. Oh wow, Ryzen 9, yeah. That should be powerful, yeah. I wonder if it's your motherboard causing issues. Hello, boarding to gate, welcome. How's it going? We're getting close to the top of the descent now. 40-ish miles to go. If we go to the Perth page, you can see 38 miles at our top of descent. While we're here, let's do our put our destination data in. So if we go over to, I'm just going to bring it up on my tablet. So the QNH is 29906, which is 29.96 in inches of mercury, and then temperature is 38, very warm in Vegas today. It is pretty much midday there, so and then our minimums, let's have a look here. Minimums today, so ILS is 2269. There we go. X-Plane 12 uses most CPU or GPU? CPU. It does use, you know, you need a very balanced system, but I would say it's more CPU heavy. Oh, you really upgraded the motherboard? That's interesting, Caleb, in that case. Glad to hear that, boarding to gate. Yes, boat. That comment from VCR check there. Absolutely take a look at that. Our good friend Kuwait Pilot has some great videos on optimizing X-Plane and bottlenecks and video settings and all that good stuff. So definitely do go ahead and check those out. What do you think about the real weather? Microsoft Flight Sim and X-Plane 12 always do flights with friends, and they're on Microsoft Flight Sim and the weather is different. In terms of accuracy, I think X-Plane live weather is generally more accurate. Visually, Microsoft Flight Sim generally looks a bit better. It's a bit more sort of cinematic and dramatic normally, not necessarily as realistic. But I found both sims a little bit static on the weather. So especially since I started flying in the real world, you know, recently it's been very bumpy. I mean, you know, gusting 25 knots when I'm trying to land. I mean, my first landing ever on the 152 was in wind gusting 25. Wasn't ideal conditions, but the instructor said, you know, give it a go. And I did, and it was incredibly bumpy, you know, really fighting the plane down on the runway, trying to keep it center line, and it's yawing all over the place because of the wind. And I've never had any weather that bumpy in either sim, at least with live weather. In X-Plane, if I turn the turbulence up to severe, it does replicate it, but I'd say X-Plane is a bit more realistic in that sense, but both are not particularly close to real life, just because the factors that a sim can't really simulate. Like, for example, at the airfield I fly, one of the runways has trees on the approach, and as you fly over those trees, you get all the turbulent air that's hit the tree and gone up, and it's all, you know, the air is swirling all over the place and causes a huge amount of turbulence, and you can really feel it as you go over the tree, so you've got to be prepared for it. The sim, you know, just won't simulate things like that. When it's raining, it's sunny. Yeah, there's definitely differences in live weather for sure. I did start my PPL, yeah, absolutely. I'm 10 hours in now, almost ready to go solo. I think I'm just going to do 1 more hour of circuit training, and then I should be good to solo. Did you slip it in when landing? Yes, I did. So I did, on Monday, I did 5 landings, and then yesterday I did 4 landings. And each one was really gusty, bumpy weather, and yeah, we did have to slip it in because it was a bit high. But it's great practice, you know. I'm looking forward to when it's calm, and now landings will hopefully come a little bit easier because I'm used to landing in bumpy, horrible weather. But yeah, definitely have to slip it in a few times. And the aircraft, it does yaw all over the place. You know, 1 minute you're yawing to the left and you're out of you know, the ball, if you're familiar. It's off to the right, and then it's suddenly off to the left, and yeah, it's difficult for sure. But it was fun, it was very fun. So, just going to get ready to start our descent here. Our first altitude is 8,000. So we should get a decelerate marker here above the PFD. Just a second here, we'll see it. There it is. So we'll start the descent then. A good way to learn, it's like when I did my driver's, it was on ice and snow. Yeah, and then when it's you know, regular tarmac, it'll be a lot easier, right? So yeah, definitely a good way to learn. Yeah, 11 to 12k in Europe is about right. Obviously with a PPL, it's not really a fixed fee. It depends on how long you take to get your PPL. But yeah, you're looking at around that much. And I definitely do not get a special price. Definitely not. I wish. It would save us a lot of money. But no. Yeah, definitely always worth having a little bit extra as well. Just in case it takes a bit longer to you know, get the PPL. And then don't forget, of course, you have to maintain the PPL. You have to fly 12 hours here in the UK. You have to have 12 hours of flight within the last 12 calendar months. So, you know, that's going to cost money as well. Even on the medical, be prepared to pay a little bit extra. I ended up paying a lot more for my medical just because I had to do extra tests and all sorts, and that costs money, you know. So aviation, very expensive. The sim experience does definitely help out for sure. You know, I have got through my initial training quite quickly because of what I've learned in the sim. Some things you can't replicate. So for example, right now I'm landing, and while the aircraft reacts the same, the weather is different for a start, and the pressure you feel on the yoke in a Cessna, you can't really replicate unless you have a force feedback yoke in the sim. So, you know, I've got the Boeing TCA yoke, and it's fantastic, but it's nowhere near heavy enough compared to what I found in the Cessna, at least. And you know, you don't get that feedback, or the G forces and stuff. But the sim's definitely useful. Definitely is useful. It has helped me a lot. It really, really has. Especially talking to ATC, you know. Talking to ATC because I've been able to practice that. Just flying circuits, practicing your checks, for example the bump pitch checks, which is the downwind checks that we do. Going through your checklist. So as soon as I got my 152 checklist, I got in the sim and started practicing, just going through that. So now it's I still use it as a backup, you know, but now I can go through everything as a flow and check everything on the checklist. It just makes things a lot quicker. But yeah, the one thing which surprised me is the amount of back pressure you have to put in the 152 at least for the landing. Significantly more than what I'm used to on the sim, and it's a lot heavier as well. But you can really feel it a lot more. You can feel what the aircraft is doing, which is really nice. That feedback is so important. But yeah, the sim, very, very good for a lot of things. Practicing and for the real world flying. Other things maybe not so much. As long as you know the limits, it's fine. And my instructor heavily encourages using the sim. He is a big fan of X-Plane, so got the opportunity of flying the 150. Oh, very nice. I fly a 152, so it's not too different. Great aircraft, not particularly powerful, but they're very, very what's the word? They do what they're meant to, if that makes sense. You can really throw them about. Excellent use of the sim. I know a lot of real world pilots do the same in the Zebra mode. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I can imagine all these airliners. I know, for example, you know, Flight Deck 2 Sim has done many training videos in the Zebo. V1 simulations. Has done many failure streams preparing for his real world check ride in the sim using the Fenix and the TOLIS aircraft. So, you know, definitely so useful. I mean, failures in the Fenix and the TOLIS must be really useful for practicing for the type rating, and just this, you know, knowing the layout, knowing what things do is very useful. Very, very useful. Yeah, boat, yeah, don't just jump right into it, you know, of course, do a discovery flight or something. Also get your medical beforehand, because the last thing you want to do is spend all the money and then realize for whatever reason you might not be able to do it because of a medical. So definitely get the medical first, get that sorted. And have the money, you know, set aside as well. You don't want to start the PPL and then run out of money, and, you know, then it's just been a bit of a waste. So just make sure everything is good to go before you start. That's the advice I was given. Hey, Mint Mellow, welcome. Glad to see you here. Do you have a flight club in the area? Helps keep annual cost to a minimum. Yeah, that's another thing. So the club I fly at actually has other airports there's other airports in the area, other clubs where the landing fee is free, because they have an agreement, you know, and that helps keep costs at a minimum as well. Definitely being part of a club gives you some nice discounts as well. Even on equipment. Equipment is another cost. Everything in aviation is very, very expensive. Medical is about €80. That is very cheap. That is very cheap. I remember having to pay, I paid £300 for my initial medical, and then a lot more on top of that for the extra tests I had to do, and it took me almost 2 years to get my Class 2 medical. It took quite a while. Yep, 300. And that was just for the initial. Just to go there initially and do the actual test. And then if there's issues or they want to double check anything, then, you know, you got to pay for those tests as well. And there's no real way around it. PPO will cut their fees to get hours when you fly. Yeah. But so for a class 2 medical, you can just go on the day, and if everything goes well, you should have it at the end of the day. Yeah, so the reason mine took so long is when I went there, everything was fine, except when I did my ECG, which is a check of your heart and the electrical signals in your heart. There was a slight blip. Now it wasn't anything major, it wasn't any sort of issue as such, but it was something that the medical officer, the aviation medical officer, wanted to get a second opinion on. And then essentially I just got moved from one doctor to the next doctor, to a cardiologist, to a consultant cardiologist, and you know, do this test, do that test. And I ended up doing I did an ECG, an echocardiogram, which is a 3D like scan ultrasound thing of your heart. I did a full 24-hour ECG, and I then had to do an ECG for a whole week. So I had an ECG machine on me for a whole week. It wasn't fun, but I had to do it. And then eventually, thankfully, I got the all clear. It was nothing in the end. It was just, you know, they wanted to make sure that everything was double, triple, quadruple checked, you know. So, and because I'm in the UK, obviously through the NHS, sometimes I have to wait 6 months for an appointment, you know. Either that or pay £1,000, £2,000 to do private. So some tests I did privately, some tests I had to wait on the NHS. And NHS waiting times are incredibly long right now, so yeah, there's a multitude of reasons, but thankfully I got it. And yeah, we're all good now. Are you from London? I'm not from London, I'm from the UK, not London, but I'm not far from the Midlands, from London. Pretty skinny, do you think that'll be a problem? No, not really. As long as you're a healthy weight for your height, your BMI is, you know, healthy, then it really shouldn't be a problem. I don't see it being a problem at all, but of course the only person that can answer properly is an aviation medical examiner. If you have glasses, is that a problem? Most likely not. As long as your vision is correctable to a good enough standard, then you should be okay, as long as you're not colorblind or anything like that. Of course, again, I can't really answer that. The only person that can answer that is an aviation medical examiner. They are the only person that can give you a definitive answer. Right, doesn't want speed brake, so we'll put that back in. We are approaching Vegas now. Look at that. What a lovely terrain outside. Also for yourself, that's important. Even not for your PPO, you want to know. Alex, yeah, absolutely. You know, that one of the things I said is, yeah, it took longer to get the medical. It cost a lot more. But a lot of people would not have had any of these tests maybe their whole life. Or they won't have these tests until they're 40, 50 years old, and maybe they pick up something that you don't know about. So if there was anything, I'd want to know now, you know, but thankfully nothing came up. So it's you know, it's just good to get the test done. I'm deaf, not able to do PPL, so I fly in-sim by the book instead. Yeah, so yeah, unfortunately, yeah, can't fly in real life, but the sim is a great alternative. Absolutely. And I'm glad you are able to, you know, fulfill that passion with the sim, for sure. In real life, if you pass by those mountains, you'll get turbulence. Potentially, it depends on the way the wind's blowing. So if the wind's blowing towards us, if we have a headwind, it would potentially, you know, hit these ridges and go up. We might be a bit high to be affected by it, but yeah, maybe. It really depends. Again, the sim can't really replicate that, but potentially, yeah, absolutely. If you fly over trees and on final approach, you might get all sorts. Innsbruck is particularly difficult because you know, the mountainous area, you got winds all over the place, bouncing off the mountains, all sorts of turbulence. It's one of the reasons it's so challenging, as well as it being somewhat high altitude and a difficult approach. I just hit on one side, the other is almost deaf, so... oh, okay. Yeah, so in the same situation. Again, yeah, see, glad you can use the sim to, you know, fulfill the passion there. I've definitely found when it's warm, at least in the real world when I was flying, when it's warmer, it does tend to be a bit more bumpy. When it's a cooler day, it's not as bumpy. On my Discovery flight, I had turbulence the whole way, not near any mountains either. Yeah, so obviously I'm in the UK, it's fairly flat around here, and I saw it's very, very bumpy. Really very bumpy, the last couple of flights I've had. More so than anything I've ever experienced in a larger commercial airliner. It was just all over the place. But it was great practice, you know, being able to control the aircraft in those conditions. Very good practice. But yeah, there's so much with the weather. A lot to study, so I'm studying for my ground school right now, and I've not started on meteorology yet, which is the weather essentially. I'm just doing air law at the moment, but yeah, there is a lot to learn about the weather. It's quite interesting as well. I do find it interesting for sure. You can get the lights on now as we are approaching 10,000.
Traffic.
Got a traffic warning here. Looks like there's an aircraft below us. Oh yeah, there they are. Oh, what people call the death grip. First lesson I got taught. I'm just gonna turn that off for a second here. Otherwise it's gonna interfere. So one of the first things I got taught on my PPL is the way, when trimming especially, to hold the yoke really light with just two fingers, your thumb and your forefinger, because then you can really feel what you know, pressure you're putting on the yoke, and you know what to trim, if that makes sense. By all means you can really grip the yoke, you know, but the more you grip the yoke, the less you can sort of feel the pressure in what you're doing. So it makes trimming a lot harder, and trimming is so important. You know, my instructor is very much trim, always trim, because you know, an aircraft in trim, a lot easier to fly. And of course when you start getting into you can fly a 152 out of trim for sure, but when you start getting into flying in IFR conditions, in particular airspaces, talking to air traffic controllers and switching frequencies and making sure you're flying the correct departure and the correct arrival and all of that, or you may be multi-engine, that's when things start to get very busy. And if the aircraft is in trim, you've got a lot more capacity to, you know, do what you need to do. I'm gonna set 5,000 now, and 220 on the 230 is fine on the speed. Set auto brake low. Yeah, tech questions better to ask in the Discord. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Alex. When I wanted to take pics, the instructor took over and he was legit just using his thumb. Yeah, look, if the aircraft is in trim and it's not too bumpy, it will pretty much fly itself, you know. So yeah, that's, you know, when I need to trim the aircraft, I'm just using my thumb and my forefinger on the yoke, and you get a really good feeling of exactly what needs to be trimmed. It definitely helps. One of the first things I was taught. Yeah, about 10 minutes, not too long. Not too long now. I'm just gonna put a fix in. So, class 26 left. Radius of 10. Speed 220. Descending nicely. Platform is 5,000 because the elevation at Vegas is 2000. I can do a tutorial for the Sky mod, yeah. There is a lot of videos out there already, so I tend not to make duplicate videos if there's already some good videos out there, but I can if you really want. I watched the video from EasyJet Sim Pilot, if that helps. A great video on it. So we're descending nicely. I'm going to slow us down to 180 now and put a little bit of speed brake out to help us slow it down. And I'm just going to get my head tracking turned on again and get ready for this approach. All our lights are on. Seatbelt sign should go on. That needs to go back on. Nav lights, seatbelt signs on. Alright. And landing systems. There we are. Why do you do that for the fixed, the 10 nautical mile radius? Purely for situational awareness. I tend to slow down to 180 knots, roughly between 7 and 10 miles out, depending what plane I'm flying, and the wind and all that. It's just for situational awareness, that's it. But yeah, the install for ARPC is really simple. It's just dragging files into the correct place. And then you can set the settings however you want. Gonna arm the approach now. We should hit the localizer and the glide slope soon, hopefully. I'm gonna go flaps 1. So flaps 1 set. We might not intercept the glide slope here. Localizer glide slope capture, perfect. ILS landing, yes, absolutely. Alright, so we're now localizer glide slope, autopilot 2 can go on.
Traffic.
I'm going to turn my TCAS off, otherwise it's going to do this. Just FSLTL, doing FSLTL things. Slow down to 180 now, 160 now. Oh, come on. Hopefully that aircraft isn't too much of an issue
2,500.
as we land. I'm going to go flaps 2, 8 miles out. There's the runway. Let's get the replay going. And I've learned how to do a better replay camera now as well, so it should look a bit better for you guys. Arm the speed brakes then, go gear down, flaps 3, select the final approach speed. And I'll take a look at chat now when I land. Gotta concentrate for this bit. Just want to see where that aircraft is. Just turn on TCAS for a second. And doesn't look like it's going to be an issue. It's now behind us. Perfect. Flaps full. And nice stable approach. Look at this, lovely photogrammetry. This was all upgraded recently when we had FS Expo here. You can see the Las Vegas Strip there. And look at this crosswind. So, disconnect the autopilot there then. I have control. And let's see what we can do here. Hopefully keep it a little bit better on the center line than we did yesterday. But like I said yesterday, really happy with the flight model changes that they've made, and I think bringing parts of the flight model out of the sim is definitely the correct move. And I just remembered the ILS on this runway is completely screwed. So I'm gonna go visual. I was flying earlier today, this ILS, and if you follow the ILS, it takes you down into those trees. So as you can see, we're pretty much on the glide slope now visually, but the ILS says we're high, so we're not gonna follow the ILS. Just visual now. And hopefully this is a nice landing. We are recording.
Above. 100. Minimum 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 5.
Alright. Not too bad. Keep it centerline. We were a little bit off there, but that's not bad. Aircraft taking off there as well from the other runway. Reverse is alright. We're decelerating nicely. We will show a replay in a second. And that other aircraft looks like it went around from that shadow. We'll take this exit here. So the reverses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Las Vegas. Beautiful. Look at the scenery there in the background as well. Beautiful. That was a decent landing. Happy with that. And I hope there's nothing on this runway. Sorry, on this taxiway. But right, there's an active runway here, so we're just gonna do a quick check before we enter it. So nothing on our left, nothing on the right. There's an aircraft landing there, but we'll be well out of its way. So a taxi on the way, flaps up, landing lights off, nose light to taxi, strobe light can go off. Come on. Sometimes the parking brake doesn't disengage properly. And we'll disarm the spoilers. And I can stop the recording now. And we'll take a look at that later once we park up. What am I using for recording? So the in-sim recording there, this is just a default replay tool within Microsoft Flight Sim. You have to enable it in the settings, in the experimental section. Every flight, no idea why it's like that, but you have to do it manually every single flight. And then for just recording and streaming, I'm using OBS, Open Broadcast Software. Right, we'll make a right here. We'll head up to a stand over there. Look at that aircraft taking off there. All those aircraft on final approach. Vegas is busy today. Hey, Calum. Welcome to CUDA First Officer. Thank you very much for being a member on the channel. And of course, your fantastic support as a moderator. And we'll go over here. And once we park up and we've got the engine shut down, we will take a look at the replay. And get the APU started then. And I'm just going to bring up Navigraph so I know where I'm going. There's a United aircraft there took off. I didn't see what aircraft it was exactly, what aircraft type. But I definitely saw the United colours. We're going to take a left here. And oh, a £2 super, £2 super chat as well. Calum, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I truly do. And alright, I am going to get the TCAS off. And our transponder can go off as well then. APU is starting, good stuff. Let's get GSX open here. And we are at, so it's going to be gate D, and let's go for something like, something in the 50s. That is just here off to our right, so I'm just going to stop. Go 50, 53 should work, I think. Let's do 57. If that's available, it is. Show me the spot. There it is, just off to our right. United. And lights can go off now. And I think 50 is just here. Is that 57? Yes, it is. So we'll turn in now. Using the flight amper scenery here. fantastic scenery for Microsoft Flight Sim. Do have all the GSX profiles as well, and I'm seeing more stuff pop up in the chat, so take a look at that once I park up. Got a marshaller here. Slow it down. And we'll bring it to a stop here in just a second. Oh, a little bit further. And alright, we'll stop there. Parking brake can go on. The APU has started, so the bleed can go on as well. And we'll cut the engines then. Fantastic. Alright. And Alex has been a member for 5 months. 5 months must be shorter or not. Life goes by so quick. It sure does. It sure does. And I can't believe it's been 5 months since I started the whole membership thing as well. So thank you very much for your membership, of course, and your support as moderator as well. Right. Beacon can go off. GSX is going to do its thing. And let's do a replay then. So I'm just going to end the flight on Volanta in the background. So, and Volanta says, if I complete the flight, Volanta says, oh, Volanta says minus 364 feet per minute, but I don't feel like it was that hard. I think it was a quite decent landing. But for this replay, we do need to just turn the lights back on. And the flaps need to go to flaps 4. And arm the speed brake again. You have to do all this for the replay. And as soon as the flaps are in position, we will do the replay. Absolutely. Plenty of aircraft flying about as well. See the flaps going down there, and then look how short the aircraft is. You can actually see them, although that door's not open. Right, flaps, are they in position? No, but they'll do. It doesn't matter too much. Let's do the replay then. So I need to do this somewhere here. Right. So I need to click this. Go into the drone cam. Set my view roughly like this. Now open. It's a bit long in the in Microsoft Flight Sim, but I need to do follow mode off, lock mode on, increase the speed, and now we can go all the way down to the runway. Yeah, replays take way too long in Microsoft Flight Sim. There's so much to do. Alright. So, here's the runway then. And you know what? I'll just close FSLTL in the background. And alright, we should be good for this landing then. So, I think we're good there. Let's go ahead and play it. And enjoy this replay then. This might take a while actually. We may have gone a bit too far out, but it's not as easy to just fast forward in Microsoft Flight Sim. We're slowly getting here. I don't know why the gear's not down. I hope the gear is down for the replay. Maybe it'll appear in a second. There goes the... there's the gear. Now it's appeared. I guess that's an LOD thing. Oh yeah, we went way too far out. Yeah, the ILS is definitely broken on this runway. I'm not sure why. I noticed that earlier. If you follow the ILS, it just takes you down into the trees and buildings on approach. But here we go then. It was actually a bit of a hard landing, I think. It did look a little bit hard. But there it is. You can see the horrible photogrammetry there in the background because we're in replay mode. So, right. We need to end the replay. So, in fact, I'll just pause it. Because otherwise it will just spawn us back here and it causes all sorts of issues. But that's going to be the end of the stream then. A big thank you to all of you for being here. Not too bad of a landing. It was a little bit hard actually when we looked at it, but it wasn't too bad. Too bad at all. Wasn't too bad. If you don't have a signal from ILS transmitter, then it's about the nav data from Navigraph. Yeah, I think it might be an issue with the scenery, potentially as well. So I'll have to have a look at it, for sure. Yeah, we'll be back next week, potentially, well, most likely in the MD-11, back in X-Plane, and then maybe the Zebo mod as well. So, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.